Hey guys, today I have a new update for my Pan Those eyeshadows. I'm so excited to be filming this update. We have some good progress and I'm like ready. I'm ready for some new things. And let's get into it. If you haven't watched my intro, what I'm doing this year is randomly selecting 5 shades from my collection, and we are using them either 20 uses or hit pan, whichever comes first. However, one of my big things that I want to do this year is play with the entire palette, not just hyper focus in on the one shade. A lot of times in past, since I'm rolling in 5 shades, I would try to use each of those shades in one eyeshadow look and just roll through them like that. But now I just want to use the entire palette, make looks with the entire palette, maybe mix some palettes, but not use I don't want to use every single thing every single day. I think I was starting to get kind of bored just doing the same look over and over and over until I hit pan on something. I've been really enjoying picking out which palette I want to use for the day and maybe use 1 or 2, maybe 3, but really just enjoying my palettes. And I really liked it, so it's probably going to be eventually, I do have a few rollouts today, but eventually it is probably going to be more slower going than it used to be. I used to fly through items in this project, but I've just been really liking it. If 20 uses does seem to be even too much because I'm using the whole palette, maybe I'll drop it down to 15, but that seems really small to me, because my goal is still to hit pan in these items, but I really just want to get love on everything this year. But let's get into our progress for today. So we're just going to go in order of how they rolled in. The first palette that rolled in was the Lorac Mega Pro, and the shade that rolled in is Oat, which is kind of a cool tone, cool tone brown color, and this is what the shade looked like last time. Here is the palette today, and Oat is this one right here. We used it 7 times, which I think is pretty good, and I really enjoyed playing with this palette. I actually have really good dips going on these 3 shades. And I mean, Oat, I don't think I'm going to be able to hit pan on Oat in 20 uses, but maybe I can hit a bonus pan down here. That would be pretty cool. I've used a ton of the shades from in here already. I've used all of these up here. I know I've used Pink Panty, Oat. I think I used Sugar Cookie. I've used Mahogany. I think I used Spice. But I've used these 3 shimmers. I used Copper Pearl. I still want to play with these ones down here. I haven't done that yet. But I've used a ton of this palette already, and that's what I'm enjoying. So that is the update for this palette. Again, I used it 7 times, and here's a close-up of Oat right now. So this palette will stay probably 2 more updates. I think it's going to take me a while to get to 20, and I don't see myself hitting pan on that shade. Even if I hit a bonus pan in another shade, so if I were to we'll go back to this. If I was able to hit a bonus pan in one of these shimmers, this is still my focus shade. So even though if I hit pan on here, I'm still going to keep it in until I get my 20 uses on that shade, if that makes sense. The next shade we had rolled in comes from the Marc Jacobs, the Mod Trio, and it was the black shade in the center. This is what it looked like last time. Here's what it looks like today. We hit pan. There already was a little chunk taken out, just it smashed at some point. But we hit pan. I'm so excited. I just used this as an eyeliner. I actually hit pan in only 5 uses, so this one was not out for very long. I did use this white color They don't have individual names, but I did use that white. It's like a pearlescent white with a little bit of a blue and purple shift to it. I used that as a brow bone and an inner corner highlight one day. But this one wasn't out for that long, but I hit pan on this one in 5 uses. Very happy to have this one rolled out, and I got some use on it. Got to swatch the Lorac shade, so back to this one. I'm going to swatch the ones that are still in the project. So there is Oat right there. It's very close to my skin tone, so it does make a really good transition shade for me. The next shade, which is from the Smashbox palette, this is the Photo Matte Eyes palette, and we have the shade Rose Hip in this project. Here's what it looked like before. And this is what it looks like today. It's this shade right here, and I only used it 2 times. So this one got put on pause. I was focusing on the other ones more, but I do really like this one. So I don't think I'm gonna have an issue reaching for this one 20 times. I'm not gonna be able to hit pan on this one. It's a very like dense and hard packed shade, but I'm excited to have this one in. It's a really pretty transition shade for me. But yeah, I've only used this one twice. This one was just kind of on pause. I was focusing on other stuff first, and there's that one right there. Very light matte colors so far. The next shade I have is the Ciate Spice palette. We have the shade Moonlit, and here's what it looked like last time. Here's what it looks like today. Moonlit is this one right here, and we have pan. You guys, this only took 6 uses to hit pan. I was not expecting to hit pan in 6 uses. I didn't even, I hit the pan, I was like, what the heck? These are so shallow. I was not surprising that at all, but they are pretty wide, so there's still quite a bit of product in here. But it's a very chunky, metallic, shimmery shade. I really liked it. I enjoyed having this palette out. I used this palette a ton. I used every single color in here except for, I think, the dark brown and the dark purple. I don't think I used those 2, but I used the other ones a ton. I have a really good dip going in this one, actually. I don't know if you'll be able to really see it, but I was using these 2 in the crease. I used obviously that one, but then I was using this one a ton. I love this little palette, and I got some really good use on this one. I was happy to have it out, but yeah, I was so surprised I hit pan on this one in 6 uses. So yeah, this one's gonna be rolling out. Really good progress this month. And then the last palette we had rolled in is the Pure palette. I had a shade number 5, and this is what it looks like before. Here's what it looks like today. Shade number 5 is this taupey, I guess it's not really taupey, but that bronzy shade right here. I used it 5 times. So we've gotten a little bit of use on that one. There's a little bit of usage looking in it. The shade is super metallic and pigmented. I barely touched it. So I've been using that one on the lid a little, the 5 times I used it. I used it on the lid, and I think I used it on the lower lash line as well. And I've been enjoying it. I've played around with this palette just a little bit. I think I just used these 2 light colors. But I would like to play with the entire palette. I just haven't yet. So 5 uses on that guy. These are the 3 still staying in. We get to roll in 2 new shades. I'm excited. Hopefully we get something a little bit easier, because these 3 are gonna be in here for the full 20 uses. I don't expect myself to hit pan on any of these. If any of them, it would be this one, but I don't think I will. It's pretty pigmented. Goals for next time for these, before we roll in new items, is just to continue using them. I want to get at least 5 more uses on each of them. and I would be okay with that. Again, I just want to keep playing with the entire palette, and I've been really liking it. I've been really liking playing with the Lorac palette, and then I haven't really played around with the whole palette of either of these ones yet, but I do want to. But let's get to the fun part. Let's roll in some new things. Okay, we get to roll into more palettes or eyeshadows, whatever. 1152. I hope it's something good. Where is it? Okay. It's another Smashbox palette. This is the double exposure palette in the shade Mauve. Okay. That palette is a frequent flyer in this project. Let me write that down before I forget. Okay, and one more. That one's like somewhat newer. Okay. That is, I like that one. That is the ColourPop So Very Lovely palette in Organza. I don't know what the shade is. I actually have that sitting over there in a box that I was going to talk about because I did use it 5 times for my Project 5 uses. So I'll pull that out and we'll just talk about it here. But let me go grab those 2 palettes and I'll be right back. Okay, I haven't looked at the shades, but I have the palettes here. This is the Smashbox Double Exposure palette. Again, this was in my project last year. What shade was I working on? I worked on shade Temper last year. I think it was like a dark purple. But anyway, this is the palette. Let's see what the color is. Oh, I have to look on the back. Okay. Mauve. It's the second shade. Okay, that's pretty. It's like this like purpley color. I kind of thought it was going to be this one or this one, but it's this one right here. It's a really pretty like kind of, it's like a darker purple satiny color. I don't think I'll hit pan on this, but that is a pretty color. I'll probably use that out as a lash line. It's definitely darker than like you would think it is, based on like in the pan. I think it looks a lot darker. But I'm excited to have this one out. I really like these colors down here. And then I'll probably use that one again on the lower lash line maybe. I'll probably put it in the outer corner a few times. It's a pretty cool tone and I don't tend to go for cool toned colors. But I'm excited to play with this palette because when I had the other one out, I think it was this shade, I didn't get to play with the palette as much as I wanted to. So I'm excited to have that one out. It'll be a pretty one to play with for spring coming up. And then the last palette is another one that'll be good for spring. This is the So Very Lovely palette from ColourPop. I got the shade Organza. Again, the second shade in the palette. Let's see what it is. Oh, that's pretty. That actually is gonna go perfect. This is the palette. That's gonna go like perfect with that purple. It's this one right here. So another like cool tonedy purple, but this one's like really shimmery. Oh, that's really pretty. That one is more pink. I love that color. That is gonna be stunning. This whole thing would be really pretty as a look. I know I'm not like trying to do that this year, but that would be really pretty. Maybe a few times. But I really like that color, especially with like these like lighter crease colors, even the gold, even the blue-ish purpley. I'm excited. And I'm excited to have this one out again for spring. I haven't played with this in a long time. This was in my 5 uses a while ago. So yeah, really pretty shimmers to work with in here. I'm excited to have this one out. So that is everything for today's update. 2 new ones. I'm like really excited for this one. The double exposure palette is okay. But I'm excited to have an older palette to get more use on as well. But that's going to be everything. Goals for next time. I don't think I'm going to have anything rolled out for next time. So that's kind of a bummer. But I'll work really hard. Maybe maybe Lorac, the oat shade, I can use that as a transition at least every day, as well as playing with the palette and other palettes and kind of switching it up. But I can probably use that as a transition shade every day and get that one rolled out for next time. But I don't know if I really want to. So we'll see. I'm excited. Here's the color story once again. I hope you guys like this video, and definitely stay tuned for the next one. But be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye, guys!